What is up, fine folks? Please remember to comment, like, subscribe. Giving me a virtual pat on the back. I would really appreciate that. Now I'm just getting ready for work, just rolling up some tubes. Yeah, look at those nugs. Those are some fine nugs. Now today, I want to talk about my favorite movie to watch on shrooms. And yeah, this shaman is a little less synthetic these days because my boss makes the best mushroom chocolates and they don't make me nauseous. So now I can do shrooms without having to worry about nausea or just, substituting for ACO DMT instead. Anyways, my favorite movie to watch when I'm on shrooms is something called The Empty Man. It's based on a graphic novel. I don't know much about the graphic novel except that it's a somewhat similar premise. Now, I think this movie is criminally underrated, and I think it just went right over the average viewer's head. I think, yes, it does deal with a lot of what I kind of deem to be like nonsense, appeal to authority type philosophies like ontology, nature of reality, epistemology, the nature of knowledge. I think I may have just done the definition to those backwards, but you get the gist. Because a lot of it has to do with, well, what do we really know? What is perception? What is reality except for perception? Where does it come from? And, my personal favorite philosophy is stuff like semantics. I have this theory I call information osmosis, which I think is kind of the same thing as like a meme, in the terms of like the Richard Dawkins definition of it, where essentially it's a piece of information that changes like a gene as it passed down through generations. And that's what I call information osmosis, because as it gets filtered through each generation, it changes. Now, The Empty Man, for one, it's directed by, I believe, the assistant cameraman for David Fincher, at least for a long time. And so there's a lot of very Fincher-esque qualities to this film. And I absolutely love Fincher, so, you give me a Fincher-style horror film, that is just a wet dream to me, essentially. And I remember, the first time I watched it on shrooms was like a religious experience. Just talking about all these, like very highbrow concepts, like, essentially how there's like what is it, this line that the cult is telling their devotees, nothing can be known, and even if something can be known, nothing can be communicated about it because nothing can be understood about it. So, you may see what I mean about the absurdity of stuff like this, but I mean, that is what I find fascinating. Like, how can we truly know anything except for what we are taught and what is programmed within us? But more so than just the underlying philosophy of the film is these amazing shots. Like there's this one shot where James Dale Badge, I think his name is, main actor in it, who I absolutely love. I first saw him in a fairly indie film called Standoff at Sparrow Creek, and I thought it was great. I thought it's the best locked room type mystery since Reservoir Dogs, and that's saying something. And he's great in this. I actually didn't know until looking up his filmography the other day that he's also been in The Departed and 24, and he was in The Grey as well. And I remember his character in The Grey, but I don't remember him very, very well. Yeah, no, I loved him in Standoff at Sparrow Creek, and I absolutely loved him in this. This film poses a very scary existential question that, what if you were just created for the purpose of becoming a carrier for information? Your whole life is being just fed to you as a fabricated lie. It's being programmed into you so you could serve something else, someone else. You are essentially a proxy for an evil signal of information. I love that. But the shots in this film are absolutely great. Like the beginning where they go to Tibet and Bhutan, and it's very convincing. There's little noticeable CGI in this. The cinematography is great. There's this absolutely just, this shot that it gives me a total film boner, where he's looking at the map of Mark Twain National Forest, and the camera kind of veers down towards the map, and then the map grows trees, and the road becomes indistinguishable on the map from the road that he's actually driving on. It's really a great shot. And then when he gets to the camp and he's watching these things dance around, things that are, said to be cult members, but, there seems to be something more preternatural about them. They're dancing around this fire, and the fire goes up to the sky, and it just kind of lights up the stars and the galaxy. You can see kind of why they call it the Milky Way on a star-filled night. You see that in the shot, but the sky lights up, and it's just thematically consistent with the scene before, where a character is talking about the Nietzsche quote. You look into the void looks back into you. And he also had with that shot where you see the fire going into the sky and he looks up, and it's like he looked into the void and the void looked back into him. And then, of course, the cult members notice him, and so he's just trying to maneuver his way out of there. And the cult members are kind of mimicking his actions, and he just goes, "Fuck this," and runs. And it's just such an honest response, and I love it. But it's truly a trip, and it's truly a masterpiece. And I'm usually pretty harsh on most movies, and I found very few flaws in this. I think its main issue is not the film itself, but the way it was marketed. It was marketed as, and also the name, I think, made it reminiscent. The name of the marketing made it reminiscent of movies like The Bye Bye Man, or the Slender Man, or some sort of ridiculous, teen creepypasta-based film. And also, you see kind of the original carrier or whatever for the Empty Man in the scene at the beginning where they're in Bhutan and in Nepal or Thailand, something like that. I believe Nepal, and it looks like an H.R. Giger kind of figure, this big skeleton, and it's got these massive hands and more fingers than a human being should have, and then this eerie sort of Tibetan chants, those chantings that kind of sound like didgeridoo almost. They just start ringing out, and just so eerie and so chilling. And I think it's great. I think they could have maybe lost some of the bits about the Empty Man game and the teenagers and all that. going missing kind of in the second act. I think it would have done better if it focused less on stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure that must have been a push from the studio, from marketers going, okay, well, this is an audience we want to tap into, but then, you know, you're also feeding them a bunch of, you know, very weighty philosophical ideas. So if that's the audience you want, you know, that's not the kind of content they're going to be looking for, I would think. But I think this film definitely deserves a cult status, and it deserves a revival. It really does. If I could find a copy, I would totally buy it, but I think it may be even out of print, because I asked at my local sort of novelty indie video store where I buy my Criterion Collection movies, and I believe they said it was out of print, which is unfortunate, because I do not want this to be another like niche horror film that sort of falls out of favor with the public because of poor marketing and bad reviews. I mean, I really, really enjoyed it, and yeah, it walks this fine line between you know, Buddhist, nihilist, and like sort of gothic ideologies, and I think that's amazing, because you know, leave it to the empty man to make Buddhism absolutely terrifying. These ideas that, yeah, we are nothing in the universe except for receivers to diseased information out there that is coming at us from something dark and malevolent in a universe that is just essentially holographic, essentially just a projection of what the senses want to see. Meaning, you know, we're laboring for nothing, for nil. And, you know, you could even be laboring, you know, as the film sort of suggests, for the purpose of just serving someone else. You know, our lives very much could be a lie, and you know, I do think there is an appeal to authority type of crux to that sort of argument, as yeah, like really, who knows for sure what's really real, because all we do have are these mechanisms called senses to dictate what is and what isn't. So yeah, it's one of those things that you can't deny, but you know, you really can't prove either. But I mean, those are the concepts that fascinate me. So in any case, I just wanted to share that as a recommendation, because The Empty Man is a great film. I absolutely loved it, and I would like to see more from this director. So, you know, please do check it out. And do like, comment, subscribe. You know, I want to have a dialogue with you guys. I wanna, you know, try to do something with this channel. Try to, you know, get to a point where I can afford like decent equipment and whatnot. So, yeah. Anyways, that being said, I bid you adieu, and you all have a great day. Bye bye.